This is the second part of the vision received on July 11th, 2014 while in prayer. It's called The Clearing and the Water. In the clearing, we sat at the rock. We talked and rested. A picnic. A nap? He asked me to come with him. We rose slightly above the land, hand in hand as one. We hovered and moved above its surface, and I saw with new eyes. I knew it was full light where we were, but the scene below was very different. Down below us was dark and shadowy, very, very dark and smoky. There were fires burning all about, fires of all shapes and sizes. There were people about also, here and there, usually alone, isolated. He brought my attention to the fires. They were needed. The people were afraid greatly of these fires, and I knew on some level they were literal and yet also symbolic. They would provide healing, cleansing, purging, but the people didn't want any of that. The people were looking to government to help and finding nothing. They would look within and realize there was nothing there to help. Sometimes they would look to each other, but only find a vacant, hollow fear that mirrored their own. Or worse, they found cruelty and much pain. They would never look up. They either wouldn't acknowledge the power of looking up through pride and hate, or they had been taught to not look up, that it wouldn't do anything, or they had forgotten to look up, have never known to look up, not even a glance. We moved along silently overhead until he brought me to a young blond man, alone, wandering in anguish and emptiness. In the teeniest, tiniest way, he barely lifted his eyes slightly, ever so slightly upward. His intentions were lifted to God, and we immediately lighted down before him. Only I was visible, and I think I appeared. He was surprised, but so bereft. He just looked at me, vacant, hollow. I knew all my words were from the Lord, and I asked him, "Why are you seeking water in a barren land?" He asked me, "Do you have any water?" I said, "If you knew who you asked," for Jesus was in me, "you would ask for living water, and it would spring up to life within you, causing you to never thirst again." He said, "Can I have a glass of water?" I don't know how, but I produced a large cup of ice-cold water to him, which he gulped down. A crowd began to assemble around us. They were like jackals, laughing hyenas, smelling an opportunity, not to receive but to take. A very dark spirit, that is, to want to steal from someone just so they cannot have. He asked who I was, and I told him, "The Holy One of Israel sent me to invite you into eternal life. He greatly loves you and desires to be with you evermore." He asked who he is, and I told him Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of the living God, who created all things and paid the cost to receive you to himself, to be together always. The people hated me. They hated him, but they were restrained in a way. I told him there was nothing to fear. Jesus would be with him and never leave him or forsake him. He cried as he received eternal life, and the people became enraged. They rushed upon us with stones and sticks and hearts of hatred. They could not touch me, but they crushed this man with vicious venom, and immediately Jesus received his spirit in love's eternal embrace. We rose and took him home with great joy and victory. The end. Thanks for listening. Please post any comments or thoughts that you might have on this below.